Tim, first question on the right side in the back.
Hey, Ime, Tim Reynolds of the AP. After you left San Antonio, you went to a couple pretty intense situations in Philly and Brooklyn. And how much did the experiences you went through there sort of prepare you for the roller coaster that you were about to get on with this season? And sort of, if you applied any of it, I mean, it's well chronicled. Obviously, you guys have been really good the last 50 games, and you were struggling the first 50 for a lot of reasons. How much did going through those situations there help you out at the start of this year?
Yeah, I've stated quite a number of times how beneficial it was to get out of San Antonio and kind of get back to the real NBA. And, I think 7 years in San Antonio and the foundation and the base of who I am as a coach and who I was as a player was beneficial. But to leave for those 2 years was probably just as much, or if not more invaluable for my preparation to be a head coach, due to a lot of reasons. Some situations, obviously, in Philadelphia with winning on the line and getting fired after that. Brooklyn, an intense situation with a win-now mentality and some superstar players. And I think all that boded well for me going forward. Like I said, San Antonio is a little bit of fairy tale Boy Scouts and do whatever you ask. And I need to get back to the real side of the NBA that I was in as a player. And I think that helped me navigate some of the things earlier this year.
Dan?
Hey, Dan Wicke with the Los Angeles Times. Your first taste of the NBA came with the Lakers and for a 10-day deal. I'm curious, you just mentioned San Antonio was the foundation of who you were as a player, but what do you remember about that 10-day span, that first real taste of this league? How did that kind of inform the rest of your career?
Yeah, I had a really good training camp in Hawaii the year when Peyton and Malone came, and was, I think, the last cut to some veteran guys, Brian Russell and some of those guys they brought along. And so I was confident in what I did there. Kobe's shoulder popped out, and they called me up and got on a red eye to play against Denver. But in the first game and even in that 10-day, I played well enough to probably stick, and I heard that was a plan. So it kind of just boosted my confidence. We had some injuries to bigs, and they had to replace some bigs, and I was a casualty of that. But it just more so than anything built up my confidence of what I had been doing in preparation to play in the league and kind of give me that fire to get back there. And so LA's always been a special place to me, being from a West Coast, being from Portland originally, and the first place I played and first taste of the NBA, and kind of, like I said, motivated me and drove me to get back.
To be at this point now, and obviously there's more for you to do and the job isn't done, but that it could have started just with like a 10-day thing. Did you ever think about, like, if those 10 days had gone differently, like how maybe things could have been different?
No, I don't. I never look at it like that. I figure whatever route I've taken, it was going to start somewhere. That was my belief in myself. And so if it wasn't LA, it would have been somewhere else. I had a few call-ups that fell through on the way, so I was very close for a while. And even going back to my Portland stint, what kind of kickstarted me in the league full time. There were ups and downs along the way, and if not for that situation, I was going to kick the door down at some point, regardless.
Back left.
Chelsea McDonald with WHDH in Boston. So much has been said about experience coming into the NBA Finals. The Warriors are making their 6th Finals appearance since in the past 8 seasons, while no player on your team has competed on this stage. How much does experience really matter once you compete in the NBA Finals, though?
I think once you get out of the initial media circus and the intensity and how everything is much more exaggerated, obviously it's not much different when you get on the court. We have guys that are young but have been through a few Eastern Conference Finals already, and then our path this year, 2 Game 7s and playing some high-level teams and taking a tough route. I think that's prepared us more than anything. I coached in 2 finals my first 2 years in the league, got to a Western Conference Final as a player myself, and then we've had other coaches who have been through it and won championships as well. And so we can kind of give our advice on what's to come. But once we get out there, I think what's really been good about our group is they're not caught up in the moment. The Game 7s, playing on the road, you see our record. And more so than anything, it's just basketball. At the end of the day, that's what we try to stress. And I think that's the benefit of our group being so young and approaching it that way.
Jeff, the middle.
Jeff Zilgate, USA Today. Ime, when you interviewed for the job, what were the conversations with Brad like? And maybe as you are here today, What are some of the important aspects of your relationship with Brad that, allowed some of this to happen?
More so than anything, it wasn't about, obviously you talk about the expectations and the standard of the organization, but really basketball philosophy and where we wanted to go as an organization and the way I thought the game on both ends, the way I related to people was a big part of it, and how we could push the group forward. And so very natural in the interview process, the original Zooms, and then in person with Brad, we kind of hit it off from the get-go and thought the same way. And so we obviously felt comfortable, and there were some benefits of working with somebody who feels the same way. And so with him, it's been great. Different situation. A lot of people may not think is appealing, but I think it's only a benefit to have a guy that's coached for 7-8 years in the building with the same guys down the hall, talk about every situation he's been through and kind of lend his support as far as that, but also step back and let me do my thing. And so I think it's only been an added benefit, and in a unique situation, it's helped out this year for sure.
Joe here in the second row.
Ime, I heard what you said yesterday about Smart and Williams, but how do you plan on listing them for tomorrow's game? And then with assuming Marcus is questionable tomorrow, does he have a chance to play his way off the injury report, or is this an injury that is going to slow him down for the whole series?
No, Marcus is different than Rob. It's a sprained ankle, and once the swelling goes down and the pain goes down, that can obviously improve his situation as far as that. Rob's a little different coming off the surgery, and the amount of games we played in that 17-day span every other day, and the toll it took just naturally, besides the bone bruise he took against Antetokounmpo. So his will be listed as day-to-day the rest of the way, how he reacts on it. And we've kept his minutes lower in the last few games against Miami, and his availability has been up and down based on that game. And so his is a true day-to-day situation, where Marcus's is specifically a rolled ankle that'll get better as time goes. They are both, yes.
Melissa, right here.
Hey, Melissa Rowland, Fox Sports. You talked about your time in San Antonio. I'm curious, have you been in touch with Pop at all? And if so, what advice has he given you?
We haven't talked yet. We text, and I missed him on the call. He left me a voicemail on the plane yesterday, but I know he's watching through other people letting me know. And I've said it this year, as an assistant with him, I saw how he was bothered throughout the playoffs for years by other assistants that left. And I said I was never going to be the guy to do that. And so haven't really talked to him much other than we played him and had some dinners this year. And I know he's watching. Left a nice voicemail after we made it, and we'll talk at some point. But he has helped me throughout my career, and he understands what the situation is, being through it so many times himself, that he's pretty similar to me as far as that, not trying to bother anybody. And so I know he's supporting, and I've heard through other people, and we'll talk at some point.
On your left.
Ime, you've kind of talked about the different styles of leadership on this roster, but Marcus specifically, he starts the year kind of calling out Jayson, Jaylen for their playmaking. January, he has a moment where he's telling everybody he loves them. It feels like he's kind of been trying to find that sweet spot of, tough love or, going a little easier on guys. And, you've kind of gone through the same thing here, I'm sure. What has just been that process like of Smart, but really everybody finding the harder way to do things leadership wise, or maybe the more, soft hand?
Well, guys are who they are, and Marcus is emotional as a player, and the things he says and the way he plays and wears it on his sleeve. So he may go about it a different way than others, but he is who he is, and we encourage guys to speak up. And the thing about the Chicago game was that nothing said publicly had not been said privately, and so although it may rub some people wrong because it was said publicly, it was something that we were working on behind the scenes every day in film sessions, one-on-one sessions, and we all understood the areas we needed to improve. So that was what it was, and we moved past that pretty quickly. But Marcus, as well as the others, their leadership and being vocal has been invaluable to the group. Him and Al are the more vocal too, but Jayson and Jaylen have really grown in that area and do it their own way. And so we love them for who they are and let them be who they are. And I think that mix of leadership and different styles benefits our team.